Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. This is John with 20's on the 20's. Today we have our special guest, Johan Waller.
Hey, it's good to be here.
Yeah, thanks for joining, man.
Thanks for having me.
How you doing?
I'm doing great.
I like that watch, man.
Thank you. One of my friends gave it to me. Pretty cool guy.
Nice trip.
Yeah, definitely something. I
Tip
feel like
top.
Tommy Hilfiger's a really good brand.
Yeah,
I really like it.
that's a Seco.
They've been around for so long. I don't know how long, but it's definitely one of those brands that I I can interact with a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, more than like, I don't know. I feel like it's way better than wearing like Supreme or I don't know about Gucci. Gucci's pretty
Yeah,
good.
Gucci's pretty cool
But
too. I like Gucci.
I don't know. Tommy Hilfiger's just it's like out
It's
there,
classic.
you
Yeah, timeless. Like Ralph,
know.
that polar bear. Oh,
What's one of those brands that has been there for so long?
Levi.
Yeah.
Levi Strauss Co.
Hasn't like Louis Vuitton been there for the longest?
Louis Vuitton. Yeah. I don't know.
Huh.
I'm not exactly sure on that one.
Um. Yeah. I mean, it's been a great year so far. Only 10 days into 2021,
Yeah.
but I feel like I learned a lot in 2020.
Yeah.
You know, even though it's sort of a tough year for almost a lot of people,
Mhm.
but for me personally, it was a great year, and but it's just the virus, COVID-19, that really killed the vibe. You know,
Yeah.
I had so many plans, like I don't know, I'm really into like movies, so I like going to like the movie theaters and
Yeah.
all that, and like
Mhm.
we just couldn't at all. And I guess you can still do it now,
Yeah, I
but
think they're opening up again like
yeah,
tomorrow, right?
I think so.
Or maybe Minnesota here.
Yeah, but I don't think they're allowing like full seats or like there's probably like 40 seats in a movie theater. They're probably gonna allow like half the people.
Yeah.
You know.
What do you feel like COVID like really messed up your plans?
Um,
Like, or were you still able to get most of what you wanted to done?
yeah, yeah. I mean, it didn't. It actually made my life a little bit better. You know, cause I got laid off from my job,
Yeah.
and then I was just making bank. You know, for doing nothing really. Just sitting at home, chilling. You know.
Were you making more money on unemployment than at work?
Yeah. Yeah, I made good money. I was so impressed by that. Like I would go every now and then. Excuse me. I would go every now and then to my bank account, and I would just check it over, and I would literally see like the numbers just go up more and more. I'm like, what the hell? Like, how's that even possible? But I sort of took advantage of that. You know, I saved most of the money, so
That's good.
yeah, I want to play the smart game, and yeah, it's awesome. And I sort of like treated myself a little bit.
Mhm.
You know, I went and bought myself some clothes. I went and bought myself a longboard, um, from Eric's. You know the store,
Oh,
Eric's.
really?
Yeah, yeah, it's super nice.
Do a lot of longboarding or?
I used to do that a lot, but do you remember this guy Wyatt?
No.
He's friends with Lulu and Rachel.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's just Rachel's roommate, right?
No, no, no.
Or
He's
sorry.
Rachel's friend.
Yeah.
But he has a longboard too,
Oh,
and
sick.
he was like, "Hey man, we should like go longboard sometime." I'm like, "Yeah, for sure." And then as soon as I bought the longboard, I sent him a Snapchat, and like he just left me unopened. And I was like, "Oh, I thought you wanted to like chill, you know, like."
Yeah. What a
I mean,
savage, bro.
Yeah, yeah. I'm like, what the
Just
fuck?
left you on red.
I mean,
Gee.
it didn't really matter. It's all good.
It didn't
But,
bother you that much.
no.
Did you
But-
even ride the longboard after that?
Yeah, I did it a couple times. I remember just, I remember just being at home, like, where I used to live months ago, and we didn't have any AC at
Oh,
all.
jeez.
No AC, so
That's rough, man.
it was so ass. Like I just hated it. I remember coming home from work. I'll be sweating all day at work.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be coming home, like around 6, 7 p.m. and like I would literally take the coldest shower, just to, like feel like sort of fresh a little bit, and I would feel fresh for about like 30 minutes, and I'll be sweating again, over and over in my room.
So hot.
And there were times where I couldn't stand it anymore, so I literally had to go to my car late at night and just like turn on the AC in my car because it was so hot. And I remember just like going to my room, chilling there. I couldn't even turn on the TV because the heat from the TV would make the room so hot. It was just so uncomfortable. But I don't know how I dealt with it. I mean, I lived there for 4 years, and that's the only thing that really bothered me. Just no AC. 'Cause, it was
That
just
sounds
so
horrible,
bad.
man.
Yeah, it was terrible. I mean, it was super warm during the winter. You know. Um,
Yeah, that's kind of crazy to me. Like, there's a decent amount of houses in this state that just don't have AC
hmm,
at all.
yeah.
I've never been to a California house that didn't have like at least AC installed.
Really.
Whether it worked or not, that's a different
Imagine,
discussion. But
imagine like living down south in like Texas, in the middle of nowhere, back in like the 1900s, where when there was no AC. Like, how did they deal? I mean, I'm sure it wasn't so hot back then, but
what about cars, man?
right,
Like
yeah.
having cars without AC.
Oh yeah, I feel like radio was the biggest feature for a car, having a radio
Yeah,
back then.
that was like 30s,
So
man.
true.
Yeah, yeah,
You didn't get AC till like the 50s, 60s,
yeah. I think so.
something like that. But can you imagine cruising down a hot Texas dirt road, like 120
Bumpy as
out?
hell.
Yeah. Your car's got no AC and it's just like a metal box, like
Yeah,
no
yeah.
insulation or anything.
Yeah.
Sun's just beaming down on ya.
Just sweaty.
I drove.
Traffic.
Right? Oh
Oh.
gosh. And like all the dust from the dirt road would just be like blocking
Mhm.
everything, making you dirty and shit.
Yeah.
I drove this truck a couple days ago. It was like a 2021 truck, but the windows had the things where you like roll it down.
Manual.
And I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
what the hell? It's 2021. Why do we have this in this truck? It was like a Silverado.
Work
But
truck.
yeah, it was like a work truck. It wasn't like anything fancy or any of that. But it's insane. Like sometimes I think about that, and I'm like we became so smart, like like humanity.
Yeah.
Like we were so like how the hell do we go from like making tools as in like rocks and stuff to like making like nuclear weapons or spaceships? Like what? Like we colonized the moon. No, we didn't colonize it. Like we went up there in the 60s and we literally put our flag up there. Oh, that was loud.
In the 60s. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And but do you guys feel like that's real or was it just like a conspiracy?
100% real.
Right? Yeah, yeah. That's how I feel too. That's insane to think about. I'm guessing we were just trying to like race against the Soviet Union.
Hmm.
So
Gotta be first.
yeah.
It was a huge era for us. Like
Oh, it
Space
was.
Force in those years.
I was reading this magazine one time where 1968 was probably one of the biggest years for America, just because there was a lot of racism going on.
Hmm.
There was the Cold War was probably at its peak.
Hmm.
JFK got shot.
Yeah.
Like there was so much going on. It sort of reminds me of 2020. It reminded me of 2020 a little bit, because but we are sort of like
Catastrophe.
yeah, we were more developed in 2020. In 1968, there was no phones, no computers.
We had phones, but not cell phones.
Right. Yeah. There was no social media at
Yeah.
all. So
Martin
Mm.
Luther King Jr. died.
that's right. Yeah. It was messed up. I can't imagine just being a black person and living back then. Just knowing that there's so much you can do, and there's also like a lot of hate towards you, towards your people. Like I remember just reading about that and just it made me cringe. It's like how can us people in America treat each other like this? If you want to be the best country in the world.
Yeah.
Why do we have to fight over this? Like we literally had a civil war. More Americans died in the Civil War than any other war.
Isn't that crazy?
That is nuts. Yeah.
But I mean, we're pretty isolated here
That's true.
in America.
Yeah.
Yeah, going back to your like discrimination and or like segregation in the 60s and stuff. I read about this project the other day. I think it was done in Alabama
Hmm.
or one of those like poor southern states.
Sure.
And it's basically what's the actual name for that disease, the clap, like the STD?
Gonorrhea?
Chlamydia.
Chlamydia.
Yeah. So like the like treatment for chlamydia was like super expensive. And the
wow.
community wanted to like or they wanted to test like the long-term effects of chlamydia. So they went to this community where they knew there was an outbreak, like a black community, and they tested them and they got like 74% of the people like were positive. They're like, "Hey, we'll pay for your like treatment. Uh, we'll drive you to the doctors." And like at the time, like no healthcare kind of deal. Like it was super expensive. So if you got an illness, you just die basically.
What?
So they basically monitored these people for 30, 40 years.
And this is did you say this is only in black people?
Yeah, they wanted to see the effects of syphilis, long-term effects of syphilis in black people.
Damn, that's messed up.
And so, like, it went on for like 20 years. And then
Jeez.
when like World War II started, a couple of the guys like applied for the military, got drafted, and they tested positive. And like at that time, technology advanced to where we could treat it,
Hmm.
but the university reached out and told them like, hey, they're part of like a study.
So
So they didn't treat it all, and then they discharged them for some other reason.
wow, that's cool.
So like, we were at the point like modernly where we could like fix this syphilis.
Yeah.
Like we had antibiotics or whatever, we could cure it.
Huh.
And they let these people live to the point of death. Like 61% of them died from syphilis or syphilis conditions
That's
in like the
allowed.
60s.
Yeah,
They
that's
And we-
allowed that.
Yeah, and it was like buried. It was a buried project with like the CDC or something, and then it finally got like public in like 1972, and there was like 28 survivors left at that point.
Is there still like some people alive nowadays or no, probably not.
They're all dead now, but their descendants, some of their descendants are still getting money from the government for like restitution.
Oh wow.
Like 8 people, because they basically said like we'll pay for your funeral if you die and while you're doing this and everything.
Damn. You know what I find crazy is that like if you're a loner, I guess like if you have no one that you can interact with in your life,
Yeah.
like no families, like no siblings, not a single friend, and if you die, like you really can't afford to die if you don't have any money.
Oh.
Like
Well,
you
at that point, if
really-
you didn't have family, just go to the state.
yeah.
Like you
Yeah.
get buried in this, like New York has Staten Island.
Oh
They just bury you if you have no family,
wow.
or they can't identify you. They put you in like a mass grave. Yeah,
That's
like
nuts, yo.
the
Oh my
videos of
God.
COVID, they like dug out like 120-foot trenches, and they were just like putting wooden caskets like in the ground, just stacking them on top of each other.
You know what's so sad? That's what remind me of something. I'm sure you guys have heard about Auschwitz.
Yeah,
You know how they would like bury all those people?
yeah,
It's like one on top of the other. Like
yeah.
a
No
huge-
cardboard boxes or anything.
Right.
They just kick them in and
That is so messed up.
shoot them and they fall in. It's crazy.
I remember like
Ashes.
yeah.
They just
and-
burn them. No real markings.
I saw a huge box. It was probably like the size of this table. It was just full of rings from the Jewish people that were like married and all that.
Isn't that sad?
That is so sad. and like that's how like World War Three basically started because of um it was just a hate towards Jews, you know. I'm guessing Germany just wanted to be the dominant power.
Well,
of Europe.
they had to pay restitution, so the country was basically always on the verge of like bankruptcy, like insolvency, not being able to pay its debt back.
Mm.
And then the allegiance basically said, no, we're not giving you any break. And then they looked at it and they said, well, our country's poor, like those Jews seem to be doing fine. And then that's how like kind of Nazi youth was born.
Wow, that's nuts.
Like it was basically like picking someone who's a minority
Mhm.
to blame.
I'm really into history, like a lot.
Remember that nuts?
Yeah.
I love history. It's so crazy to me.
It's so
Seriously.
fun.
There's so much out there too. Like you could.
I read that well, I didn't read. I saw this video where if World War Three were to pop, were to like just happen for no reason, um, and let's say Russia managed to go all the way from the east to the west, and let's say somehow they got over Germany, like Luxembourg, Netherlands, Belgium, and if France was about to get like conquered again, even though they got conquered twice in the
Mhm.
21st century, um, they would at least drop some nukes and right in the border between France and Germany to like not let the Russians cross into their country. Like that would be some major like thing to think about,
That's nuts, man.
right? And it's
Really?
it's really sad to see like France is the only country that has won the most battles in the whole world, like in the history of like
Yeah, but
any
they've
other
been a
country.
superpower for hundreds of years.
Oh yeah, yeah, they
Yeah.
were so
Just-
powerful back then.
Have existed for that long.
Right. Yeah, that's crazy. I don't know. I remember I used to have huge posters in my room of all the countries.
Really?
Yep. I had a huge poster of the whole world, another one of just North America, and one of just the states of America. So, um, I basically know where every country is in Europe, except maybe for um, some countries by Poland, like Lithuania, Latvia. Um, I don't know the other one, but all those countries became part of NATO, like in the past like 20 years, I believe. And just because like they're kind of weak a little bit, you know. If a War Two were to pop up, they would definitely need reinforcements, like from the U.S. or from any other NATO country. And what's really shocking is that even with the amount of reinforcements that they could get, it would be impossible for them to like last even probably like a couple weeks or even a month if something bad were to happen. Um, yeah, sometimes I have this book in Spanish. Sometimes I read it twice, and it's about like these soldiers in Norway that
Mhm.
were trying to defend their country with the Allies before the Nazis took over.
Yeah.
And there was just so much sacrifice, and it's really sad to think about, just because like it happened in real life, and um, the reason why Germany had to take over that country is because all the Allies tried to go up from the north, like they tried to conquer Norway. I mean, help Norway. So the Axis powers they don't have any sort of like um,
Trying to cut them off to the ocean.
yeah, basically, and um, yeah, it's pretty nuts to think about that. It was just so sad. Like imagine being in China, like being a citizen in China back then, and just seeing so much atrocities by the Empire of Japan. Like they did so much
Yeah.
bad shit.
Yeah.
Japan and China have kind of had a messed up relationship for quite some time.
Oh yes, yeah they did. But Japan was so evil they were evil as fuck. And like not only that, but the Soviet Union also like they committed some terrible atrocities towards the Polish people. You know.
It's
Um,
it's crazy how much like ethics has changed
yeah.
since then. Like literally, like what percentage of the population died in World War II? It was something like almost 10% or something.
Holy cow.
And like
Yeah.
no one blinked an eye, and it was all for stupid reasons. World War one of the largest fatalities we've ever seen. That happened because a driver took a wrong turn in a car and a prince got assassinated.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Like-
read about that.
When we think about politicians as these like intelligent super geniuses leading us, like we glamorize them and treat them like celebrities, they're just people making decisions based on how they feel.
Mhm.
Like there's still the feeling element of it, and like there's so many atrocities throughout history that did not need to happen, just because someone got offended.
Yeah,
Took the wrong turn.
that's true.
It's
feel like-
stupid.
I feel like here in America, we have the privilege of say whatever we want to say.
Yeah.
You know, just be whoever we want to be and stand up for ourselves. You know, we
Mhm.
have the freedom of speech to say whatever we want without feeling scared of going to jail or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
If you were to live in, you know, like China or somewhere in the Middle East,
North Korea,
right? If you were to say something, even
some countries of Africa.
oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
if you were to somehow like tweet something and say something like a joke against the dictator or the king, whatever,
Yeah.
it would be like somehow life in prison, or like not just you but also your family would be affected by it.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that nuts?
Mm-hmm.
It's like that's actually really sad to think about.
Yeah.
But I'm just glad. I'm just glad like we live in this country, just because there's so many opportunities here. And
Mhm.
me personally, coming from a different country, I just saw so much change, like a lot. I remember coming here, and just like seeing the roads just being like built, like so well and so perfect. And I remember just like in Colombia, like let's say you were to stop at the stoplight would be like right there. It wouldn't be like across the road where like you can clearly see it. It would be like right there. So if you were in the front, you would have to be like this, just like check the stoplight. Yeah,
What?
yeah, it would be so bad.
Oh my
And
god.
and like it was just like I guess there were some parts that were like the infrastructure was just so perfect, but some parts of the city was just like it looked like it was never um like they didn't put enough effort to finish it. Like I remember seeing constructions that would go on for like 6 7 years straight, and they just wouldn't finish it, you know.
Really?
And yeah,
It sounds like California, bro.
I mean yeah.
The 5 freeway's been worked on for like 20 years and they're still not done with it.
What?
Yeah.
What do you think the budget for that is?
Oh, it's some obscenely inflated amount that doesn't need to be that high.
Yeah, true. That's crazy. But also like another thing that blew my mind is that I came to America when I was like 13,
Yeah.
and just like driving was so peaceful, you know? It was just so nice. And I remember like watching my dad, and he'd be driving like a professional, and I'm like, wow, this is so cool. Because I remember being in Colombia, everyone's just like extreme at driving. They'll be going fast as hell, super slow. Sometimes there weren't even stoplights, and like a four-way, no stoplights at all.
What do you do? Just
So-
kind of like look and hold
Yeah.
on and pray? Or
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
like, who decides who goes though? Do you just treat it like a stop sign or?
I'm guessing, but I remember my mom and dad and my brother. They went down there, you know, as part of my adoption, and then we spent at least a month or two in Colombia before I finally came here. You know, just because like they wanted me to sort of explore the country a little bit, my own land, just to explore a little bit before I finally go.
That's really
And then we went to some really cool places. We went to this salt mine that was like outside the city, and it was huge. Like, I remember going there, and like it was like a tour. So this guy, he was bilingual. He not bilingual. What's that word when someone speaks like four languages?
Quadlingual,
I'm
I
guessing.
assume.
Yeah, this guy.
Well,
So
I don't know.
there in the group, there was obviously people from America, some people from Brazil, some people from Europe as well. So this guy was speaking so many languages, trying to describe this and that and that. And I remember the Salma would be so big that it was still in like construction. So there were like a couple times where we heard like big explosions, like dynamite explosions, and we came across this path where we saw probably the biggest trucks I've ever seen. Do you know those big ass trucks, like the big tires?
Mhm. Like a
But
dump truck or something.
yeah, but it was not outside. It was like inside the mine.
Holy cow.
So like the amount of room that you need for those trucks, it was just
So like a coal mine or?
yeah. But it was a salt mine, and like
Oh, salt mine.
there was a restaurant, there was a movie theater, there was probably the biggest cross I've ever seen. It was like a Jesus cross.
In the salt mine?
Yeah,
And where was this at?
in Colombia. It was like outside the city, probably like 30 minutes outside the main city, and the restaurant that we went to, it was really good. Like I really liked the food, and then I remember going to the movie theater.
Is it
and, like,
salty?
Yeah, bro. I remember. I remember just walking in the path, and my brother and I would go like this to the wall, and just like lick the salt. Yeah, it was,
Really?
yeah.
Oh, that makes
And like
sense.
I remember like grabbing some balls of salt, and I'm like, wow, dude, this is salt. No, and yeah, it was just
I love that.
hilarious. Um, but we also went to some really cool museums like around the city. The main city of Bogota, it has so much history, like so much, and
When was that city like founded? Was it like 1600s or?
well, we were under the power of Spain back then, in like the 1800s, and
When the conquistadors came and
yeah, yep,
conquered?
yeah, and I remember it was like the U.S. gained independence probably like 100 years before we gained independence, but we were one of the very first countries to gain independence from all of South America.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember after us it was like Venezuela, Peru, Ecuador. I think the last one was like Argentina or something like that. But I really like. I'm proud to be Colombian.
Mm-hmm.
Just as like you can never forget where you came from.
Mm-hmm.
Never.
You know, like if like yes, you can sort of like forget about it, but at the end of the day, like someone's gonna ask you, so how was it when you, how was it like 30, 40, 60 years ago? What do you remember back then? You know, how was life back then? And that's sort of like the knowledge that I'm gonna go with for years and years.
That's awesome.
How has that
And
changed your like perspective after coming to America? Like that heritage, that knowledge of your past life. Like what is
Oh.
that? How has that changed you as an American?
oh, it changed me to a better person. I mean, I was a good person, you know,
Sure.
before my adoption and all that. But I remember just thinking about the fact that, okay, what if I don't get adopted? What if I don't get picked by a family? I don't want to go back to my original family.
Was there like a time limit?
Yeah, yeah, because I was really old to get adopted. I was 13. Most foreign parents, they want babies. They want young kids, you know, just because it's easier for them to, like, grow them, teach them, you know, basically, like, really be part of their own family. But I remember talking to my mom. She said that the main reason why she wanted to adopt me is so my little brother could have an older brother, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I remember just talking to her about that. And then I would ask her over and over, so why Colombia? Why did you choose that country? Why not like someone from like Canada or someone from like Brazil. Why Colombia? What was the reason? And then she said that she had this friend who I still remember her name. Her name is Patty Bursch, something like that. I lived at her house for about a week when I came to America for the very first time. Just like I had the opportunity to come here for about a week and meet other different families, and it was just me and a group of other kids. And then I remember I met some really cool people, but I was really into like, the iPad and like video games and stuff. And I remember the last day, this was like the day before I had to fly out back. That's when my family came through, and I remember just watching like videos about people like killing themselves, not not like really killing themselves, but like just being in accidents and all that. And I remember I would go up to my mom like, look, and like she was shocked by it. She was like, whoa, that's crazy. And I remember like playing games on the iPad with my little brother, and like I guess that sort of like got us closer. And I remember right before they left, they wanted to take a picture with me. Like I still have that picture till this day,
Really?
and I'll show you guys sometime. It's super awesome. And then that's when I realized I was like, wow, I think these people like me. I think they really do like me. So I remember the last day, like I want to cry because I didn't think I was gonna come here again. Because some guys, not some guys, some kids, they don't have the opportunity when they're that old. Like 12, 13. That's like early teen years a little bit. Um,
Was
sorry,
you?
sorry.
Sorry to interrupt. Was your brother adopted as well, like here in
No,
America?
no, he's their biological
Oh, okay.
son. So yeah, I was just really sad to go back. It's like I went back, and I remember just going into the orphanage. Even though the orphanage had freedom, I could literally just go outside and like I don't know, just do whatever.
Do whatever you want.
Yeah, but they do have trust in you. So obviously, like there was no reason for me to go anywhere because there was nowhere for me to go. You know. So I remember coming back, and there were a lot of guys that were jealous. They were jealous of me.
Yeah, why did you get to go
And
to America?
um, it was a big decision. Like it was, I remember it was the day I got baptized. Um, it was actually like a really sad day, cause I remember I didn't want to see any of my original family at all, like none of them, and somehow they found out I was getting baptized. So the orphanage was a couple blocks away from the main church that we went to.
Mm-hmm.
We were in like a group of like 20 kids, and all of a sudden like we were close to the church. At the corner of my eye, I see my little brothers. I see my stepdad. And I got so scared. So I was just like, oh gosh, like what's gonna happen now?
But they
And then
didn't want you to get baptized, or what was the?
no, it's just like it was my decision. Like I talked to my counselor, my advisor. I told her I was just like, I want to get adopted. I don't want to go back to my family. I want something new. I want a fresh life. And this was like when I was like 11, bro. I was so young, and I just didn't want to go back just because of the fear that I had. I went through so much shit when I was young that just going back sort of like it didn't give me any hope at all. And I remember being in the orphanage. I like some of my really good friends got adopted, and they left, but they got adopted from like people from Spain, people from like Italy.
Yeah.
So I wanted the same thing. I told myself, I was like, I don't want to be here. I want to go to a different country. And this was at a time when my sister was also at the orphanage, so I was with her, and it was just really sad because like the orphanage is solely for siblings. Um, that my sister ran away, and I only saw her like once after she ran away, and I never saw her again. And I was just so lucky because like if you don't have siblings in the orphanage, you're out. And I didn't want to go just because what if I get sent to an orphanage where there's no freedom, where you literally inside all day every day. So I had the privilege to be there, and it was just really hard. most Saturdays because that's when siblings get together, they visit each other. So I'll be by myself, just like watching TV or, um, doing whatever. And until I met my godfather, he's really into church. His name is Jonathan.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the coolest dude, the coolest person I ever met. Like, I honestly treat him like he was like a dad to me. He helped
Mm-hmm.
me get closer to God. He helped me be more positive. Just having more hope,
That's
staying more
awesome.
humble, and so I started praying every single night. I started praying. I started, not really getting into fights. I remember getting into so many fights, dude, and holy crap, it was a very like odd time to be there, and I got the privilege to go to a private school just because like I had um, that willingness to like get my homework done,
Mm-hmm.
getting good grades. So I went there for 3 years, and then it was great. It was a great time, but I just didn't want to be in Colombia anymore, like at all. I wanted to like be with my own family. I wanted to have my own bed, my own room. And so my advisor, I told her I was just like she even asked me. She was like, "All right, Johan, you have one decision. Obviously, you don't want to go back with your own family. You want to get adopted with a family from here, or would you want to have the option to be adopted from a family from a different country?" And I right away, without hesitation, I said I want the second option. And she was like, "Sounds good." So she like signed the papers and everything. And then this is when I was still getting calls from my family. I remember I got a call from my mom, and I was just like, "No, I don't want to answer that." I feel so bad about it, but at the same time, like it was it was for the better, you know. And so the day I got baptized, I remember my stepdad was there, but now my mom. I remember going up to the front, so the father could like put water in my head and such.
Mm-hmm.
And then I remember going back to the seat. My stepdad, he was just like, "I know you don't want to be here. I know you want to go back with us." And right away, I looked at him in the eyes and I was like, um, I don't know. And he was like, "What?" Like he gave me that look. He was like, "What?" And I was like, "I don't know. I don't want to." Like I literally said that, dude. And I was so scared because I thought he was gonna do something bad. Cause like he did so much shit back then. Like he literally like, oh gosh, he would basically like treat us like crap. If we would get a bad grade, he would like hit us. Even my sister, bro. Like I saw my sister getting hit by my dad. That was just so hard. So as soon as I said that, once everyone got baptized, we all got back, and it was time to celebrate. It was time for like eating food, like drinking sodas, whatever. I remember, um, I was still kind of sad because like my little brothers were excited to see me, and I remember seeing my brother Alejandro. He was coming at me running, and my stepdad he was like, "Alejandro!" Like he yelled at him. He was like, "Come over here!" And then so all my three little brothers, my stepdad looked at me, and then he left. Like he just left for good. And I remember like that day, like I felt so betrayed, but it was just like I was still kind of happy. I didn't want the things to end in such a bad way, but it just needed to happen. And I was still kind of happy because like when I got baptized, you sort of get like there's this word, it's called padrino or madrina,
Mm-hmm.
which means like another person is like part of your of you when you get baptized.
Mm-hmm.
So Jonathan literally just like I told him about it, and he was like, "You know what? It's okay. God's with you. This was God's plan. Everything's gonna be okay. It's a bit hard right now, but this is what we go through." And I was so young back then. Like I still think about this sometimes. Like I still think about like my mom. I still think about like all the crazy stuff that happened when I was in Colombia, and I still think about my sister. I still think about like so much stuff. But I'm so lucky to be in this country. Cause like even though like sometimes like a lot of people ask me, "Hey, would you ever want to go back to Colombia? Would you ever want to visit back?" I told him no, I don't want to at all. Like right now is not the time to do that, you know. And even if I were to somehow come across my siblings, you know, what would they think of me when I get back? Because I know for a fact my stepdad, he probably told him, yeah, Johan left you guys. You know, like he didn't like us. He probably left for good. Because he was that type of person, you know.
Mm.
And it was just so like, I remember making big decisions when I was little, like when I was like 11,
11 years
12,
old, man.
Huge
and
decisions.
oh, bro, it was
That's
so
insane.
yeah, it was hard,
You
and
decided to get out.
um, I was so lucky with my adoption, because usually if if the adoption were to go through the main orphanage where I was at, the whole process would have taken at least like a year and a half.
That's a long time.
It's a long time to wait. So um, I got sent to an orphanage of babies. The orphanage is Fauna. That's the name of it, and they're very well known from foreign families. You know, mostly the U.S., Canada, maybe some families from Europe. Um, but I got sent there, and I was the oldest guy, because everyone else was just a little kid. There were babies, there were kids that were like 1 year old, 2 years old, and I just remember like feeling weird. I felt weird when I was there, because I was just like, crap, I gotta go through the same process that they go through. I gotta go to bed early, I gotta wake up early, I gotta go to the same playground where they're at and everything. And but guess how long the whole adoption process took? 2 months. 2 months compared to like a year and a half. Just because it's easier with a baby, it's easier with like a young kid to go through the whole adoption process.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I feel lucky. I feel so lucky, and I remember just praying every single night, you know, for a better future, for a better life, for a good family to like take care of me and such. And that wish came through, you know. And um, as true as it is, like I feel so happy, you know. Like I would have never met you guys, you know. I would have never
That's crazy.
met all the people that are in my life right now, and it's nuts. And now that you know we're in the 20s, it's like wow, I literally got adopted like 10 years ago, right? Yeah, like 10 and a half years ago. And I've learned so much, and I've come across great people that sometimes like I don't even need to think about the past. Just because
Mm-hmm.
if I do, it's sort of gonna like drag me down. You know, it's not gonna help me like become a better person than who I am. And I mean, yeah, sometimes it's really sad. Cause like I wish I would have said bye to my mom. You know, like too bad she wasn't there. But I remember she was trying to come to the orphanage, trying to like visit me, just her, and they just wouldn't let her. They were like, no, Johan's not allowed to see you. Like we're sorry, but you gotta go. You know. And I remember just thinking about that. I'm like, fuck, like that is so sad. You know.
Why do you think
And
they did that?
because it was my decision to put myself into the adoption. Because if it was my decision to do that, um, it was best for me to not see my original family at all. You know, and
So like it's kind of like once you go there, you never go back.
yeah,
Like
pretty much. Yeah,
that's it.
and it was just so like I didn't want to miss the opportunity, because like there were many kids. So I was there for like 3 years. There were many kids who literally got adopted, and they got brought back. They got sent back because like they were just like little shits, you know. They wouldn't respect their family at all. They wouldn't follow orders, and the family just got sick of it, you know. So they got sent back, and I would just look at him like, didn't you leave a couple months ago for good, and you just messed up your whole life? I hear you. So I remember just like coming here, and I was like praying to God that like I was scared to have an argument with my parents, you know. Cause like I remember talking to my mom after we got done like arguing or whatever, and I would tell her, so I'm never gonna send back to Colombia like ever, and she was like, what? And I was like, me never going back to Colombia, cause like I didn't know English very well back then. And she looked at me, she came up to me, she was like, no, we're never gonna send you back. Like you're part of us, you know? And that made me feel safer. That made me feel more relief. You know, just cause like I was still scared. I was still having some like thoughts about like obviously my stepdad from here is not gonna hit me or any of that. You know, that would be nuts if that were to happen. But I just had the mentality of like being ready in case something bad were to happen, you know? And I feel it felt great coming here, you know? And sometimes some thoughts keep popping up in my head about my own family, you know? About like, man, how's my mom doing? You know, I don't care about my stepdad, but how are my little brothers doing? How is my sister doing? You know,
You've never tried to contact them or
no,
reach
like
out or
I have no way of doing that because none of them have any like social media or
they
anything.
don't have phones or
Nothing.
Really?
You know, yeah. And yeah, it's pretty sad, but you know, all I can do right now is just pray for them. You know, sometimes I pray for them every now and then. I ask God to like take care of them. You know, give them hope, give them the light of success, and you know, hopefully they do well in life. But right now, I don't want to see any of them. You know, it's just best for me to focus on myself here. You know, focus on my own life instead of focusing back then, or like back there. You know, um, but it was just a very dark time. I remember I got into so many fights, and you know, I had to learn how to stand up for myself. I was in the house with the big boys, and I was only 13. I was living in the house with like 17, 18-year olds. You know, once you turn 18, you're out. Obviously, like the orphanage helps you, like go to school, get a job, so you can like sustain yourself. But I didn't want any of that. I just wanted to be out. And I remember like I didn't want to get into any fights because if I do, then that's gonna mess up my whole like chance of like getting into a family and such. And but I remember one time, there was this guy. His name is Jonathan. Now my godfather, but just this bully kid. Um, I remember one time when we were in the house with like little kids. I believe it was like from the age of like 8 to 12. He was a big bully. He was a huge bully, and he would basically tell everyone what to do. He had a bigger brother, so both of them would be like in charge of the house, I guess in a sense. So everyone would basically follow what they would say. And I remember one time, him and I got into like so many fights, and but sometimes it would be like 2-on-1, cause like her brother would like help him out, you know. So I would be like the underdog basically. And I remember one time I was at the big house. He was already there because he got sent there for being like a bad person. And I got sent there. I got sent there only because there was no space for me to be in the house of little kids, you know. So I got sent there, and I remember this one time we were watching TVs, and then this dude literally had a friend who was rubbing his feet because his feet were hurting. So all of us were watching TV, and I guess I just came and sat right in front of him, and he got so mad that he literally came out from behind. He pushed me to a point where like I almost fell to the ground. I turned around and I was like, without hesitation, I just like stood up right in front of him, and I just wanted to beat the crap out of him, and I did. I remember like just feeling so powerful about that time, and I was just like, here's my chance. I'm not gonna mess this up. So obviously he like threw a punch in my face. That didn't hurt at all, and I just went all out. Like I pushed him so hard, and I just started beating the shit out of him. And then I remember he started crying because like he wanted to be the victim of the whole situation. And then I remember my best friend. His name is Johan. He came up to me and like he hugged me. He was like happy for me and stuff. And all the other guys like they were like giving me props like, hey, nice job, man, nice job. Cause like the dude was actually an asshole. Like no one liked the dude. He was like one of those dudes that like wants to start a fight, and then he wants to be the victim of the fight, you know.
Mm.
And then I remember the next day he was like kissing the person that was in charge of us. He was like kissing their ass, trying to be all helpful, trying like he was literally bringing them their coffee and shit. And I was just laughing at that. I'm like, no way. And that was like the last big thing I needed before I got out of that orphanage. I just wanted to like, I don't know, get all my emotions out. I want to get all this hatred out. And I remember one time I just wasn't friends with him at all. This is when we were in the house with little kids, and he told everyone to not talk to me, like at all. So no one talked to me. I was basically like alone, and this is when like I didn't have any like my sister was not there anymore.
Why
I
did your
did.
sister leave?
She ran away.
Why?
I have no idea. She never told me why. She just ran away. And last time I saw her, like I was just like, hey, I get to see you again. So I gave her a huge hug, and that's it. That's the last time I saw her. And
What do
this
you
is like 2 years before I got adopted.
Where do you think your life would be at today if you were still in Colombia and you never went through
Um,
adoption?
I'm guessing. I'm guessing it'll be fine. I just know I'll be with a different family, just not with my original family.
Yeah.
And I guess I just wouldn't be as, I don't know. Like I've always wanted to go to a different country, especially the U.S. Even though like everyone down there hated the U.S. Just
Why does
cause,
everybody hate it?
just cause the U.S. had everything. They had everything. I thought Disney World was like in like Japan or something. I thought like Hollywood. Well, obviously Hollywood's in California, but I thought it was like somewhere in like Germany or something like that. U.S. was such a big name that people started hating on it so much, and I was just like, well, I want to go there, you know. And I have many friends that got the chance to come here and they got adopted. So I got jealous. I was like, fuck, I want to get out of here. So I came to the U.S. and fuck, best country ever. I love this country with all my heart. I'm basically an American with Colombian roots. You know what I'm saying? Like I still listen to Spanish music. I still eat food that's from Colombia every now and then, just to like get that. Um, yeah, yeah. Like I still wish things would have worked out with my sister and I. And I remember I talked to my sister about being adopted, and she was devastated. Like she looked at me, and she was like crying a little bit because like she was like, I can't believe you're choosing this or our family. And then I felt so bad. I was just like, yeah, you're right. I should go back with him. And this was probably like a month before she ran away. I remember she talked to me. She was like, hey, so imagine if like a family were to come to visit us and just like we would go out with him to like the movie theaters, go and get lunch and stuff. And I was like, yeah, that would be super fun. So we would like talk about that, and that brought up my hopes up to the ceiling, you know. And I was like, oh, she's actually interested in like going to a new family. That's so awesome. And the worst thing happened. Like she was just gone. She was gone for good, and I was just so devastated because like I didn't have anyone to talk to. But other than like my best friend, John, and I remember many times I would literally like cry next to him, just because I didn't have anyone in the orphanage, and then but as time went on, I started praying more and more, and I felt so motivated to like just keep pushing, keep going on in life. As long as I get good grades, as long as I'm in school, as long as I do whatever the leader says for the house, I'm gonna be fine. And I remember being in the private school with my best friend. We both got to be in the same class,
Mm-hmm.
like the same grade. So we would just do like crazy stuff. You know, we would like go around and just like, I don't know, just like steal the ball from kids that were playing soccer. It would just run around the school and having them like chase us and shit. Um, but there were many times where like he and I would get into like fights with other guys, you
Mm.
know, and so but we never got suspended. We never did any of that just because we knew better than that. You know, we are at a private school where most of the kids they're just like rich as fuck. You know, we were the only ones that were like in the orphanage, and so we definitely had that limit. Like I remember every year there was this event where like um, we would like perform in front of like hundreds of thousands of people as a school. We would just like do crazy stuff with like I don't know maneuvers or we would like jump up and down whatever. There were many times where like him and I it was just hard for us to get the same material that every kid was getting. So if flashlights were required, you know, every kid would be like, yeah, sure, here's my money, take it, you know. We would have to go through like 5 6 steps, you know, in order to get those flashlights. You know, we would need like approval of the school. We would need approval of like um, the person that was in charge of us. Just because we were like orphanage kids, you know, like they didn't really have trust in us. You know, it was sort of like, all right, you kind of shitting on us a little bit, like really like the same type of guys who were here. You know, we just don't have families. You know, that was basically it. And but I remember we made some great friends while we were in that school, and the school was very Catholic. It was super Catholic, and it was a school only for boys. There were no girls.
That's nuts.
Yeah, so we were there for like 3 years, and then so when I finally found out I was getting adopted, I told all my friends from that school, I was like, hey man, I'm probably not gonna be here next year. You know, they were like, what? Where are you going? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm still friends with most of them, you know, on Facebook and some on Instagram a little bit.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah, super great, super great. And it's crazy to think about that nowadays. Like sometimes I'll be going to bed and I'll just stare at the ceiling and I'll be wondering like, what's my mom doing right now? You know, what could she be possibly doing at this moment? How are my little brothers? You know? But sometimes like I gotta get rid of that. You know, I wanna know what my mom from here is doing. I wanna know what my dad from here is doing. I wanna know what my family from here that believed in me, that took care of me, how are they doing, you know? So I think about that sometimes and I remember just like um, having arguments in middle school here with some friends, and they'd be like, "Oh man, I hate my fucking dad. I hate my fucking mom. She's such a bitch." And I would just look at them like, "Dude, like, do you know how lucky you are to have a mom? Do you know how lucky you are to like have a fucking dad? Like,
Yeah.
chill, you know?" And but these were like kids that were like privileged, you know. They had like all the money in the world, so I would talk to them and such. Um, but yeah, it's crazy. And I came to America, and I remember I would mow the lawn with my dad and shit. You know, he would like teach me how to do that. And I was so into football that I got to play football in 8th grade. And I told my mom I was like, I want to play for the Vikings. You know, just cause why not?
Yeah.
And then but then after that I changed my mind, so I started playing soccer. And then I started playing golf. Like I learned so much. Like my dad's huge into golf, so I started playing golf here and there. And golf is so peaceful.
Really
You know, it's
is.
so fun to do that. And that's when I started snowboarding. I started doing so much. I never thought. I remember getting my license, and I'm like, holy fuck! I got my license when I was 17. I didn't get it when I was 16 just because my mom wanted me to wait. I'm like, yeah, I'll wait. And I remember driving by myself for the first time, and I was like, "Wow, look at me driving in the U.S." You know, with my
You don't have to look up.
yeah, right, yeah, with my Honda Accord, And
Dang, son.
that core, I got it with like 217,000 miles.
Oh yeah, baby.
It went up to 270,000, and it was still fine.
Insane.
You know, it was just like it needed like a new battery, needed like a new tires, I guess. So I was just like, I just want a new car. So my uncle sort of helped me with that,
Oh, that's awesome.
and that's how I got the Focus. And the car is so reliable. Like it's so cheap in gas, like only $20. Um, but like I remember just like I totally lost myself there. But
No, you're good.
yeah, it was. I remember just like feeling the freedom of doing whatever the fuck I wanted to do here in America. Obviously, I'm not gonna go around and like do bad shit,
Yeah.
I can go literally like invest all of my money in something and just hope for the best, or you know, I can literally do anything I want.
It's the land of
and
opportunity.
right, it's all about opportunity, and I think about that so many times. I saw this video of this guy who was filming himself in Colombia. He was like in the middle of traffic. All their whole road was just packed with cars going left and right. There were no stoplights, and he was like filming himself. He was talking in English. He was like, like yes, Colombia's a great country, and it is a great country. It's like one of the most peaceful countries in South America if you're in the main city or like the most popular cities, because there's a lot of bad shit that goes around. Like they kidnap people. They there's so many like mountains, because like this city is like right in the middle of like the whole
Mm-hmm.
3 mountain range, whatever. So there's a lot of bad shit that goes around, and but I remember he was saying, he was just like, everyone down here is just working their ass. Everyone down here is just like having so much fun, but there's so much there's a limit to so much of what you can do. And he said that America literally changed my life. That's what he said. Because America is the land of opportunities. America is the place where you can do business so easily and you can be successful without having any worry whatsoever. And I remember thinking about that. I'm like, wow, he's speaking the truth. There's so much I can do over here that I'm blessed. And I remember, I think it was like ninth, 10th grade. Like I stopped praying. Like I literally stopped praying. And I started going downhill a little bit. So I was having arguments with my stepdad. And I was just like not doing very well in school.
Here or in Colombia?
Here.
Oh.
Yeah, and I remember like just being scared that something bad was gonna happen between us. And I was just so like, what is happening? Why do I feel this way? So that's when like I stopped going to church with my dad, and I started going to the church where my mom was. My mom and my brother, they're Christian. My dad and I were Catholic. I just hated going to that church every Sunday, early as hell. Just having to kneel,
At 7
having
a.m.
to stand up,
service.
sit down, stand up, sit down, stand up. It was just so much, and I was just like, I don't like this. I want to go with mom. So I started going to her church, and it was just so awesome. I remember like my mom would always love to sit right in front of the stage, and I was just like, Mom, why don't you just go sit in the back? Where like you're in a more higher position, you can see everything, and she loved it, And then I remember it was a more welcome place. My brother was in that group of kids that were like act. So it was really funny seeing my brother act here and there. And the church is actually in Shanhassen. It's called Westwood, I believe. That's where my aunt started going. And then I feel like that's what brought me closer to God in a way. Because like I just needed a different place to go. Because I remember going to Catholic church in Colombia, and I just hated that. I hated that. I mean, I didn't hate it. I just hated the fact that I had to like go there, sit down, stand up, sit down, stand up. Like it's just so much. I just want to sit down and listen to what the guy is saying. you know, and the music was so much better. The music was like so um, fun to listen to. I remember seeing the drummer; he was just going off, left and right, and then yeah, it was really fun. And I feel like so that's when I started praying again. I started praying every single night, and I started being more positive with myself, you know, and but yeah, it was awesome, and I didn't tell you guys, but like, so that first week I was here in America. I was here for only a week. I went back for a couple months, and I remember just like looking out the window of the orphanage, just looking at the sky. I'm like, oh, that cloud is this person. I seen like the family that was here, like Patty Burge, their kids, you know, her husband. I was thinking about them. I was just like, wow, what if I got adopted by them? You know, like those clouds remind me of them. And a couple months go by, I get a call from the person that was in charge of us of bringing us to the U.S. You know, it was like a Skype call, and she was like, "Hey, would you like to come here, like next week, so we can like chat?" I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, I would love that." So we talked about that, and that's when I Skyped, like my family that was gonna adopt me. I was so surprised by that because like I didn't think they were interested in me at all. And then so I started talking to them, and they were like, "Would you like to come here for a month this winter, so you can spend Christmas with us?" And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, let's do that." So I came here. I spent this is like the winter of 2009, 10.
I was seeing the snow for the first time.
Oh, bro, it was crazy. I remember going outside and like just seeing the snow. As soon as I got out of the car, once we got home, I grabbed the snow and I just threw it right away because it was so cold. And then my dad just started laughing at me. And he was like, "Oh," and I'm like, "Yeah." But then I remember going outside and just like skiing for the first time. That was so insane to think about. I was just going fast as fuck. And then I remember like building a snowman and just like shuffling the driveway. You know, it was so fun. I
Just
just
like
loved
typical
the
thing.
snow. Yeah, right. Yeah, like
Typical
nowadays.
Minnesota kid
Yeah,
things.
it's just like out of nowhere. And then it was just really fun to do that. And I remember going to the school where my brother used to go. It was like he was probably like, well, he's 5 grades below me, I believe, so something like that. But I went to school and I was like, wow, I'm meant to be coming here for school. My mom was like, no, no, you're gonna go to middle school. You know, like this is not your school. This is a school for like little kids. You know, and I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. And then I just remember meeting like all of his friends, his teachers. Um, I didn't know any English whatsoever throughout the whole month. So even though my parents made me read books in English so I could like get the process going, we would use the iPad for like translation and all that. And but I was still into like I remember they would give me books about history, like the Spanish book that I got. I still have it to this day, and it's such a wonderful book that I just love. Like I remember telling my mom like, I love wars. I just love everything about wars, and she was like, "Whoa, okay, that's crazy." And then I remember I would watch like I told her, yeah, I saw a lot of crazy movies when I was in Colombia, and her and my dad were shocked by that. I remember telling him, yeah, I saw like paranormal activity movies, I saw radar movies. I came to America, I was still scared of the dark, like really scared. Like I wouldn't go to my room without the light off. So my mom would be like, hey, just turn off the light. It's okay, nothing bad's gonna happen. And I remember just covering my whole self with the blankets.
Oh yeah, I used to do
Like
that
the
as a kid.
whole thing, and I'll be sweating balls. But I was so scared to like take them off, just because
sure.
like I thought a ghost was gonna get me or something. And then one
Yeah.
time, my mom like she was like, "Why do the bed sheets smell like that? Are you peeing yourself?" I'm like, "No, no, obviously not." She was like, "Then why? What's going on?" So I told her, she's like, "This is when I didn't know any English." I was like, "Mom, like, you know, the ghost, you know, shit like that." She was like, "Oh my gosh, Johan, that's nothing. It's never gonna happen. It's okay." So she gave me
How
a
old were
hug.
you? Like
Bro,
13?
I was like 13, 14 probably. I was so scared of the dark. And then but now like I don't give a crap. Like whatever is in that dark over there, it can be whatever it is, it's not gonna bother me. I just know that. Um but I remember like I would pray with her and I would ask God to like protect me from the darkness, you know? And so then I feel more comfortable. Like after that time, we were at the cabin. After that time, I finally went to bed with just my shorts and my underwear, and I didn't have any blankets on me, just because I wanted to test the darkness, And I woke up feeling great. I woke up feeling amazing, and I was like, "This is exactly what I needed," you know. And it was crazy because I did that on a night where it was raining, where there was
Oh,
thunder.
you wanted to make it like super test.
Yeah, yeah. I just wanted to like test the
Extra
ghost to
dark.
see if they wanted to like bother me or something. Um, but obviously it was nothing.
Props to you, man.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was great, and that was like one of my biggest fears, just being scared of the dark. And I remember like I would tell my parents, cause my mom and I would watch rated R movies, just cause I was older than my little brother. So we would watch like Braveheart. Have you guys seen that movie?
Good movie.
Oh, it's a great movie.
Great movie.
And I remember there were some scenes where like my brother would come down, and my mom would literally pause the movie. She was like, "Sam, I don't want you to see this. Go upstairs." And sure enough, there was like a guy, like literally his head cut off or his heart being like taken out or something. Um, I remember just watching great movies with my mom, just like about like blood and just like killing and stuff. Just because the adrenaline of it is so awesome that it's not like it's gonna happen in real life. Obviously, it's just the movie itself. That's what makes it so great. Just like any movie, like Endgame, great movie, or I'm just saying some random movies like Lord of the Rings, movies like that. And I remember one time I told my dad I saw this movie. He shook his head. He was just like, "Wow, that's messed up." And I was just like, "What? It's just a movie, like not like nothing bad's gonna happen from it." And
Was this before or after you conquered your fear of the dark?
this is after.
Okay.
After, yeah.
Okay.
And then yeah, it was amazing, and I've grown so much to the point where like I've I feel so positive with myself.
Mhm.
You
should
like,
be.
oh, always, yeah.
Yeah.
Like there's no reason for me to like give up on something. Like I remember just being scared of not having a car anymore, because my Honda Accord was just like dying. In order to repair what was wrong with it, basically the whole engine was just flooded with oil. And in order to fix that, it would have cost more than the car itself.
Yeah.
So my uncle Brad, he sort of helped me with that. He was just like, you know what? Why don't you get rid of that car? Let's start building some credit. So he helped me get like a credit card, and he helped me get another credit card. Cause I've never missed a payment
Yeah.
with any of my bills since I started taking care of myself. Like ever, and so that's how I managed to like buy that car and all that, and like it's really cool to see that. Means that some family members really care about me and such. And a couple months ago, I saw my cousin Lauren get married, and I was so happy for her. I was like, let's go. I was happy for her and her husband Ben. Ben's like one of the coolest.
Do you feel like you're like a valid part of their?
Oh yes.
Like, do you feel like they're really your family? Like.
Yes. Yeah. I remember telling my aunt, most of my aunts, and my uncles, about how I feel and all that, and like I remember one time. This is when probably before I met you guys. It was probably like winter before I met you guys. Probably. I remember going home and just having the whole weekend by myself, just because most of my other friends were out of town for college, so I didn't really have anyone to hang out with. So I remember going home and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make my family proud. not just my mom and dad, but also the rest of my family.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I want them to look at me, just be like, wow, look at how Johan is going in life. Look how far he's moving up.
So what'd you do?
You know, yeah, yeah, and you know, now that I have some great friends
Mm-hmm.
that I can interact with on a daily basis, you know, I have that extra opportunity to learn even more,
Mm-hmm.
to keep going in life. You know, to just like I can come home and just talk about whatever the fuck I want to talk about that bothered me
Yeah.
that day, and just feel great about myself. You know, just because I have trust and like my closest friends, and it's just awesome to have a family that truly loves you, that
Mm-hmm.
truly cares about you. I remember when I was in Colombia, I saw crazy fucking shit. I remember I was like 6 or 7, and I was living in this really uh, it was a house, but it was an old house. Like my stepdad would have to lock the house with a lock, with a chain. That's how he would lock the house. Yeah. And I remember coming home one time and like he was just super mad because like the house got robbed. So like most of our possessions just got taken away, and that's when he called my uncle. I don't remember his name, but my uncle was like a gang member, I believe. I saw this dude carrying guns with him when I was so young. And I remember one time my stepdad, he sent my older brother to get some groceries. And my older brother came back like 2 minutes later, knocking on the door. Like hard as fuck. He was like, hey, let me in, let me in, let me in. So, you know, all of us went outside, even though I shouldn't have gone outside. My uncle was the first one to go out and he started shooting. He was like, bah, bah, bah. And I heard that shit. Like, I remember just seeing that. And I still think about that every now and then. And then that's when my stepdad, he was like, get inside, you know? And I'm guessing one of the people, um, he was having beef with my uncle. That's when my uncle started shooting. And I can't remember I saw that. I remember seeing people getting jumped outside the house, like right in front of it. I saw cops and like gang members just shooting at each other. I remember just being inside the house, hearing those shots, like bah, 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 late at night. And it was just I was in a very bad area when I was little, you know. And then I was a really bad kid when I was in school. Like I remember just like not doing any homework. I remember just like you know getting into so many fights, disrespecting my teachers. And when I finally got sent to the orphanage for the first time, you know, like that's when I realized, all right, I gotta follow up what they say. You know, if I don't, I'm not gonna get anywhere in life.
Why did you?
So,
What was the initial like situation that brought you to the orphanage, or like why did you?
um, my stepdad was beating the shit out of us. My sister and I.
Do they have like a child protective services or something that like?
No, it was I believe it was my mom that put us there. It was her decision. Yeah. And then
Oh.
I believe she called the neighbors one time. The neighbors later called the police, and they talked to us. But I remember the day we got sent to an orphanage. We were in school. It was like a regular day at school. You know, we were in school, and the cops came, and we went to the dean's office, and we went to the with the cops to the main building where they decide where they want to send us, where they want,
Yeah.
you know. So we got sent. We were there for a good 7 hours. We ate some good food, but I started noticing around the building there were a lot of pictures of like women with like marks in their faces. You know, like I saw um, a lot of kids, you know, without families. I saw kids crying as well, and I was like, "What is this?" So I was literally like holding on to my sister. We were like holding hands, cause like, we were so scared of what was gonna happen next. And I remember after that we talked to this lady, and I asked her. She's like, "So are we gonna go back home?" She was like, "No, you're gonna be sent to a place where they take care of people your age, and that's where you're gonna be. And I was like, why? She was like, it's just for the better. I can't say anything right now, but it's for the better. Trust me. And so we went there, and we were at this orphanage for like 3 months, right? And then we got sent to the main orphanage where there was freedom. And I remember I got sent there, and I would tell my sister, I was just like, hey, let's tell them we don't want to be here. Let's just go back. Let's go back to the orphanage where we were. And but that was a major change, cause like we didn't realize how lucky we were to be at that orphanage where we got sent to. You know, there was so much freedom. Like you could literally, like, the currency there is like, in pesos.
Mm-hmm.
So like $1 is like those 1,000 pesos, like 2,000 pesos, something like that. I remember finding money, like cash, on the ground, and I would like show our person that was in charge of us. I was like, "Look, can I go buy something?" They're like, "Yeah, go." So we literally had that freedom to go buy whatever the fuck we wanted, and we would come back. You know, they definitely had trust in us. And this is a crazy story. I remember one time, this is probably like a year and a half after being there, my stepdad came through. He came to the orphanage where we were. I don't know how the fuck he found out, but he told my sister, let's go. We gotta go. You know, we gotta get out of here. So it was a Saturday where siblings get together. So my sister came with me, and all of us were gonna go to the park. So all the time, my sister asked the person that was in charge of me, hey, can I go buy something with Johan, some candy? They were like, yeah, sure. The candy store was like right there, right in front of the park, so they could easily see us. And all the time, my stepdad pulls up in a freaking taxi. He opens the door, he was like, get in. Like, he literally said, like, get in such, like, demanding voice. So we were so scared, we had no choice but to literally go in. And I remember seeing all the people from the orphanage just watching us. We just dipped. And the same day, we got back home and to like the main house, and we saw like our old neighbors. We saw all of our old friends, and they were like shocked to see us. They were like, "Wow, they look so tall. They look so big. Like, whatever happened to them?" And no later than like an hour, the cops showed up, and they started banging on the door. They're like, "Hey, open the door," you know, stuff like that. And my dad was ready to do some crazy shit, but I'm guessing, obviously he didn't. So he talked to the guy that was in charge of us, and he was like talking to him in the living room while the cops were outside. And I remember telling him, he was just like, I believe he said something. He was just like, hey, they don't belong there. They belong here. This is their home. This is their family. You know, this is their world. You know, they have no reason to be there. You know, and he was telling him how he was like, I changed. You know, I'm a better person now. You know, I make good money. You know, I can take care of them. And I remember hearing the guy that's in charge of it, he laughed. He was just like, ah, you're full of shit. Like, there's no way they're gonna come back to you. And my sister and I looked at each other. We were listening to this from upstairs. And we told each other, we're like, let's go. We gotta go. So we we grabbed a huge board because our neighbor was also hearing everything. So the neighbor literally opened the window, and we jumped from this house to the other house. So when the cops went upstairs, they couldn't find us, and they got into a huge argument with my stepdad. And all of a sudden, like, our neighbor looked at us. He was like, "It's better for you guys to go. You know, I don't want to be part of this at all." So we went outside, and I remember seeing my little brothers. They were like right there, bro. They were seeing all this shit going on. I just started crying because they thought they were gonna send to an orphanage as well. And that's when I realized, I was like, let's go. You know, we gotta go. Let's go back. Like, what was the point of us leaving? You know. So we went back, and um, I remember the person that was in charge of me. She talked to me in such a very sweet voice. She was like, "Hey, I know you're not happy here. I know you want to go back with your family. You just gotta have high hopes." And I told her, I was just like, "I don't want to go back with him. I don't. You know, I just had no choice. I was scared." And then so yeah, I did run away. That was the only time I ran away from the orphanage. One time, and it was
That
nuts.
sucks, bro.
But
Holy cow.
Hmm. But yeah, crazy story. I mean, I think about that every now and then.
I
You know.
probably would too. Like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
You're an
Wow.
inspiring person.
Oh, thanks.
It's definitely
Thank you.
inspiring.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Um,
Holy cow, man.
and I mean,
Whoa.
I will eventually go back. Visit my country. I definitely have. I want to go to so many places like the northern part, like Cartagena. I want to go to Medellin, Cali. There's like some of the main cities that have like they're similar to Bogota. You know, and yeah. But as of right now, I have no need for that. I don't feel like going back at all, just because I just don't want to. You know.
Do you ever think you'll try to like chase down your siblings at all?
Yeah. Yeah. I remember my grandma from here. This is when I was um, making my second lease for the car. I was in the process of doing that. So I was in like Redwood Falls, I believe, like somewhere around Mankato. My grandma, she made the best food, and just like any other grandma, their food's fire as hell.
Amazing.
So I remember I passed out. I was gone. I woke up. My grandma, she woke me up because like this was like 5 minutes before I had to go to a dealership. I was there. She was like, "Hey, Johan, I want to talk to you about something." I'm like, "Yeah, for sure." I was like trying to wake up and everything, and she was like, "Do me a favor, could you?" I'm like, "Yeah." She was like, "Try to look for your real mom. Like, try to like go talk to her, see where she is. Try to go see her. Can you do that for me?" And I just looked at her. I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, I'll do that." You know, but I haven't made any motivation to do any of that, just because like I don't really want to, but it would be nice to see my mom again. I just don't know where she's at. I don't know. I don't even know. Like the city is so big. Like picture Minneapolis, like the size of the circle. Bogota is like all of this. Like it's huge, huge as hell. And but it's whatever. Um, like I said, all I can do right now is just pray for them. Just pray and pray. And I remember going to school there and just like playing a lot of war games. Like I would literally grab a pencil and like start shooting with my friends, like imaginary weapons and stuff. And I was so into like war movies, like Lord of the Rings was one of them. Saving Private Ryan. Um, I remember I saw Lone Survivor for the first time. I remember I read the book first for school, and then I saw the movie. But the book was so good. The book was like it had more details about what actually happened. And yeah, I mean, it's been a crazy life for me, I would say. And obviously, 2020 was a crazy year for a lot of people. But for me, it was a good year. I learned a lot, and I definitely want to push myself this year. I feel like I have the opportunity to become better and better, and just like overcome the odds of, just making it to the top.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and now that I have like great people that are in my circle, I can truly make anything happen.
Absolutely.
And I'm very excited for that, you know? And, like now that I've moved to a better place, I feel more confident and more relieved, you know? I remember living in my old house, just coming home, sad as fuck, just because, like, I was go straight to my room, you know? If I needed something, I would go to the bathroom or the kitchen. I wouldn't do anything else, just in my room. Just because I was living with guys that were like close to 30 years old. It's like my vibe with them doesn't match.
Where'd you find
You
them?
know.
Like Craigslist or?
Um, no, it was really funny. So I was there in this girl, and her mom. I told her mom about my living situation. I was like, yeah, because she asked me where I was living. I was like, right now I'm living with my aunt and uncle, but I'm trying to move out pretty soon. I just haven't had any luck. And so she said that one of her coworker's son is looking for a roommate. So I was like, oh yeah, if I could have that number, that'd be awesome. So I literally talked to the dude, and he was like, yeah, if you want to come to your room, that'd be awesome. I'm like, yeah, for sure. So I went there, and I was like, yeah, I'll take it. Let's do it. Rent was like cheap as hell, and so I took advantage of that. And we were living in like a house in such a peaceful area. It was a
I
very
like that
peaceful
area a lot. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was nice as hell. And but over time, even though I was there for like 4 years, over time like we got a new roommate, and that dude just destroyed the whole vibe. He was just like really picky. He was upset at the fact that I'll be having friends over, and I'll be like having fun with them either in the backyard, kitchen, my room, whatever. He would get mad at the fact that we were loud, and I didn't give a fuck. I was like, dude, I've been living here longer than you have, and Aaron doesn't have a problem. Aaron was like my main roommate. Um, but after that, that's when I told myself, I was like, gosh, I want to get out of here. So I was looking for like an apartment, you know. And I remember that one time I had such a huge argument that literally I came here and I talked to you, and then Seth also came here. So we were all in the backyard, and I remember I came here so mad, and I left so happy.
Yeah.
It was.
I just need to vent sometimes.
Yeah,
to be
yeah.
honest with you,
And I remember you were in the backyard with a huge bottle of like Bud Light. It's like an oversized bottle.
40-ounce Bud Light.
And I was like, holy crap, yo.
Oh jeez,
You're in the
we don't
back.
need to go down to that road too far.
It was really funny, but
yeah.
It's great that I get to talk to my friends
Yeah.
and just like feel more relieved, when like shit happens. But
Yeah.
I have a lot of hopes for this year.
Mhm.
In the year after that, and the year after that. I'm always gonna have a lot of hopes. I'm always gonna be humble, just because that's my mindset.
Mhm.
I'm always humble, and yeah, sometimes I think about like making scenarios in my head, just like arguing with like people from work in my head. But I have to stop myself. I was like, why am I thinking about this? Why am I making like fights in my mind where I know it's not gonna happen? Like, I gotta chill. I gotta count to 10. Just like, I gotta relax. So that's basically how I helped myself become more of a calm person when things go wrong. You know what I'm saying? And I have so many goals for this year that I'm excited to come across them and just keep pushing myself. Like right now, I feel comfortable, but I don't want to be comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Like if I stay comfortable, I'm just gonna be in there as time goes on. I'm not really gonna make any progress, you know. Um, but I'm happy. Yes, I'm happy. You know. Um, can I be more? Uh, can I be happier? Yes, I can. But that means that I gotta push myself. That's basically what I've been doing, and it's been great so far. I've met so many great people, and you know, like last year was just, even though it was a tough year, it was one of the best years I've ever had.
Mhm.
Honestly, and yeah, it was awesome. What do you guys think about that story?
That was a lot.
Inspiring.
Really? No.
That was a lot to process,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. Yeah.
I mean, I know you told me a decent amount of that before, but my gosh, just listening to it again,
Yeah.
that's a lot. You ever think about the odds of everything happening the way that they did to like put you right here, right now?
Yeah. I do think about that a lot.
Isn't that nuts?
And all I can say is that I was a very lucky person. I was super lucky. But I feel like all that luck came from God. I'm very blessed, and I remember just like praying to Him every single night, and just like I believe in God like a lot, and I look up to him whenever things go wrong, even in the gym. You know, whenever I'm doing like bench press or squats or whatever, like I literally do like I be thinking about like the last couple reps. I'm like, God, give me the strength to push myself. So whenever I say that, I know he's gonna be my spotter, and he's gonna help me lift the last rep. That's basically what helps me like go on in life. You know, if I like tomorrow, if I choose to wake up and have a great day, I'm gonna have a great day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if I wake up in a bad mood, the day is gonna be shit, no matter what. You know, um, I basic, it's basically like it's all about your own decisions. Like, how do you want to do well in life? You know, how you want your day to go on. Like, you want your day to be shit, or you want your day to be a good day. You know, you basically just gotta invest in that. And um, I've done that so many times, to the point where it's just like I remember this quote from the principal of my high school in the Prairie. Every Monday, he would like talk about something, and he would finish it by saying, "Make it a great day, or not. The choice is yours." So it's your own choice to make your own day a good day. So I remember like right before I would go to the gym, when I was living at the old house, around like 7 a.m. I would literally go to the car. I'll be going to the car, and I'll be like, "All right, Johan, let's make this a great day, or not. The choice is yours."
Mm-hmm.
And my choice was to literally make it a great day, and that's how I started thriving. The gym helped me so much. Like it helped me like be somehow like smarter, you know, more capable of getting things done. You know, I remember going to the gym early in the morning and just like even though I didn't want to, because I was just like, oh, I want to sleep more. You know, I want to rest more. I want to, you know, just feel warm under my blankets. But if I don't do this, if I sleep more, I'm gonna be thinking about it for the rest of the day, and I'm gonna feel shitty about myself. You know, I'm not accomplishing the goals that I want to accomplish. So I remember going to the gym, lifting some weights without music. That's when I didn't have any earphones, headphones, none of that. You know, just because
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have a lot of money to buy any of that. So I started lifting the whole gym to myself. It would be quiet as hell, and I'll be listening to myself. I'll be like, "Ugh, ugh," you know, it's like lifting and all that. And then I remember there were some people that would come in with music, and I would just feel so jealous. I'm like, gosh, I could really listen to like, you know, a metal song, rap song, any type of music, you know. But I remember I did that for like a month or two straight, just no music at all. And I remember one time I bought AirPods. I didn't use them for the gym for like a couple weeks before I realized, oh, I can actually use the AirPods. What the fuck am I doing? You know. And yeah, the gym really helped me a lot. Um, and I'm proud of that. You know, like I remember just being so skinny a couple years ago, just like literally having no like strength at all, and um, now I feel confident to like literally do like 50 push-ups. You know, I will wake up and do 30 push-ups every day, and I still do that every now and then. You know,
That's
just because
discipline.
you gotta get your blood pumping
Mm-hmm.
in the morning. You know,
That's good.
and you know, my goal this year is to literally like invest more in myself. You know, like my own body,
Yeah.
having a great diet, just lifting more weights. Because I know as time goes on, um, you know, I'm gonna have more confidence
Mm-hmm.
to do greater things. You know,
Yeah.
maybe like getting a better job or, you know, having a better car. You know, like that car that I have right now, it literally like I got it through blood. Okay, not blood. I got it through hard work and sweat.
Blood, sweat, and tears. It's the first.
Yeah,
Think of it.
I was literally grinding myself, bro. I was just I worked every day for like 43 days straight. I remember that, and it didn't really bother me. I was just like, I gotta do this. If I don't do this, I'm gonna be like, I don't know where I'm gonna be. So I started grinding myself, and um, I remember I got that car, with 9 miles, and I was like, wow, this car is nice. It's a really nice car. I'm proud of myself, you know.
What do you
And
think your family, like in Colombia, would think if they just saw you like rolling with that car?
oh, they probably think I'm rich.
Yeah,
They'll be thinking like, wow, you know, he has a lot of money or something.
made it.
Yeah, cause like I remember living over there, we didn't have a car at all. We would always pay for a bus, or like none of us could drive.
Yeah,
Well, obviously not me, cause I was a little kid, but it was pretty crazy, and I'm just lucky I left, you know. And I remember one time, um, I was drunk. I was getting drunk with myself, and I started getting in my head, and I was just like, was it a good idea for me to leave that family? And right away I was like, no, 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 no. Let's not think about that. That was the best decision in my life, and I'm never gonna regret making that decision. You know, I was thinking about that. I'm like, where would I be right now? Like I was so drunk. Like I was just, you know, thinking. I was drinking like wine and stuff. I drank a whole bag of wine, and
That really gets you thinking.
yeah,
Yep.
it does. It does. And yeah, I mean, it was just great. And now, I feel like I probably said this already, but I'm excited for what's to come.
Yeah.
You know, I'm excited for what's gonna happen ahead of my life, and um, I feel so lucky still. You know, even though our country's going through a very dark time right now and everything, but me as an individual, um, you know, I cannot let that just ruin my life.
Yeah.
You know, I have high hopes for this country. It's the fucking United States of America.
Yeah,
You
we'll
know,
be alright.
oh yeah,
We always
you know,
are.
there's always like um, great um, positive things that happen to us.
Yeah.
You know, um, we are like the most powerful nation in the world.
Yeah. We'll stay
Think
that
about
way.
that. And you know, I remember before World War II, we were like in the Great Depression.
Mhm.
You know, like I read about that, and it was just so sad. Like a lot of people, you know, they lost all their savings, everything they had.
Yeah.
And so once World War II popped up, you know, we went from like rank 18th in the world to number 1, and everything, you know, and I feel like World War Three, I mean World War Two, um, brought us back to life in a way.
Mhm.
'Cause, you know, a lot of jobs came through. You know, a lot of women started working with us on like building planes and you know tanks, whatever. And
America always rises to the challenge.
right, yeah, that's insane to think about. And
It's kind of like you, man. I mean, you always rise to the challenge.
Yeah.
thank you.
I'm gonna go ahead and get to the last question and
Yeah.
close her out.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm honestly proud you're my friend, man. I'm proud
Thank
after
you.
hearing your story of what you've gone through.
Appreciate
I'm
it.
proud of the development I've seen with you since we started hanging out, gosh, 5 years ago almost.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to see what the future brings. Happy to call you a friend and a roommate. And
Thank you. I feel the same way.
yeah, I think
That's
it's great to know you. And I think
Inspiring.
that story is so inspiring and powerful. And
Thank you.
geez, it really brings hope to the thought that the American dream is not dead. So,
No, I don't think it's gonna die. It's just all about like,
it's perspective.
yeah, you know, like how can we move on to society? That's up to the American people.
It's up to
You
us
know?
to decide.
Yeah, and no matter what happens, I feel like this is always gonna be one of the greatest countries in the world.
Absolutely, man. That'll never change.
Yeah, even though we have a lot of stuff to change now, a lot of stuff to work around with, I feel like we have so many high hopes
Yeah, it'll
for
never.
us to get to the top.
It'll never decease within our lifetime.
Right. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna ask you the last question.
Yeah.
What's your favorite sandwich, man?
uh, I'll say for sure the I really like the BLT from Jimmy John's,
The
But-
Jimmy John's
yeah.
BLT.
but I do like tuna sandwich.
Tuna sandwich. Do you put
So
pickles
good.
on it?
No,
No pickles?
No
in
pickles,
your
bro.
tuna.
pickles are like my enemy right now.
What else do you put on your tuna then? Just tuna, mayo,
Cucumbers.
cucumber.
Yeah.
Well, it's
And-
basically just a pickle at that point.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but I personally feel like cucumbers are like somehow a better vegetable than a pickle.
You ever put like a little vinegar on your cucumbers when you put them in there too? Or?
No, I just either like the bread has to be toasted, no mayo, no nothing, tuna, and then pickles, no cheese or anything.
I mean cucumbers.
Yeah, cucumbers. Oh gosh, how did I mess that up? That's crazy.
Okay, so you just throw the tuna on some toasted bread with some cucumbers and
Yeah.
you call it good.
Yeah. That's some great protein, right?
Like a whole
Oh
can of
my
tuna.
gosh, dude. You are nuts.
Yeah.
I respect it though.
Thank you.
I respect it a lot. Yeah, thanks for joining today. Happy to
Thanks
have
for
you
having
on.
me. I'm
Having-
excited to do this again. You know,
Yeah.
it was really fun.
I'm really
Yeah.
really glad you were able to get your story out, and
Yeah.
Seriously.
looking forward to seeing you around, I guess.
For sure.
Roomie.
Thanks for having me. For sure.
All right, thanks guys. Catch us next time.
Peace.